The following takes place on a Friday afternoon, 3 weeks before 24 Legacy. Events occur in real time.
24 Legacy is in 3.5 weeks. I can't believe we are that close to 24 Legacy, and I'm just ready. I'm just ready at this point. My body, everything, mind, soul, everything. I'm just ready for 24 Legacy. But in the meantime, keeping up with my series of 24 reviews, if you guys haven't been following them, I will leave links for them down below. But in the meantime, it is time to talk about Season 8 of 24. The season basically is broken down into a couple of multiple arcs. The first arc deals with an assassination attempt. President Hassan from the IRK is in New York at the UN meeting with President Taylor. And he and his government representatives are trying to broker a peace treaty, a peace agreement with the West. They're laying down the nuclear arms. They're trying to become partners with America and, that whole shebang. Obviously, people in his country, they don't feel the same way. Like, no, you can't be partners with the West. Look at the way they live. Look at what they did to Teen Titans. You can't trust them. So naturally they plan an assassination attempt, and the first quarter of the season deals with stopping the assassination attempt on President Hassan. Then the season gets into dirty bomb territory. The terrorists have acquired the materials to create a dirty bomb, and then they can't get it out of the country, so they decide to use it against America. Jack and Renee eventually later get drawn back into the situation to help the CTU in New York try to stop them from detonating this dirty bomb. Meanwhile, on the political side of things, that peace agreement ain't looking too good. Finally, the last 8 episodes is pretty much non-stop Babar Bauer mode. There's something that happens that causes him to go completely unhinged and threaten not only the peace process, but pretty much everyone involved in said peace process. There actually are some really good things about the first half of the season that I kind of liked. When we first catch up with Jack in this season, he's obviously at the end of last season, he was dying, even though we knew they wouldn't kill Jack. He had been poisoned by that biological thingamajigger, and in this season, he's completely healed. You can't kill Bauer. He's Wolverine at this point, right? And what's weird about Jack in the early going is that he looks happy. You can count on maybe probably one hand the amount of times that Jack has actually been happy and smiling and peaceful for an extended period. That's so weird, and as usual, it can't stay that way because then we wouldn't have 24, obviously. Chloe is back at CTU. She's at CTU in New York, which features a whole new cast of characters that I will get to in a second. One of the things I like about the earlier half of the season is that it does focus a lot on President Hassan as a character. President Hassan is like this really charismatic, bold leader. He's got great presence. He's a once-in-a-generation type of leader. That's what President Taylor tells us. So he's like the perfect guy to lead this peace agreement, and that's true, but he's also the one thing that every man in this world is. It's flawed, man. Every man is flawed. The sooner every woman figures that out, the easier their lives are going to be. He's having problems with his wife. He makes some decisions that some might call questionable, and I love that. I love the fact that right from the gate, probably for the first 8, 9 episodes or so, you feel invested in President Hassan. You feel invested in President Hassan's character. There are a couple of standout sequences in the first half, I'll say all the way up to like episode 11 and 12. Like the time where Jack gets kidnapped by these Russians who have access to the nuclear materials, and, Jack basically has to die hard his way out of an entire building full of Russians. No, seriously, I mean, it's legit die hard. He doesn't have shoes, he doesn't have a shirt, really. It's awesome stuff, really. We get Renee. Renee comes back into the fold. We find out what happened to her at the end of season 7, where she was basically going into the room to end Alan Wilson's life. And she basically went Jack on Alan Wilson. She lost her job, she lost her career, and she's had a pretty rough go of things since then. The Renee that we first get in this season is really dark, badass. She's like Jack Bauer, except Jack is kind of older now and wiser, and he's kind of like, he knows when and where, sort of. She's like Jack, unfiltered and out of control, with no regard for herself as well as other people. And that makes a really fascinating dynamic between Jack and Renee. It's really awesome stuff to watch. Not to mention, obviously in season 7, if you watch season 7, there was a lot of sexual tension between her and Jack, and that kind of builds up, and we'll get to that in a second. Don't worry, it's coming. I feel like I have to talk about the negatives, and there are a lot of negatives in this season. This season's kind of a mixed bag overall. Really, the first half of season 8 is incredibly difficult to watch. I recently rewatched season 8, and it was hard to get through the first half of the season. I'm just gonna say a name that every 24 fan should sprinkle their face up with disgust at the mention of: Dana Walsh. Yeah, Dana Walsh, played by the hot and sexy Katie Sackhoff. It sounds like a great idea, right? No, it's not a great idea, because Dana Walsh is probably one of the worst characters that 24 has ever created. She has this stupid subplot with her hillbilly Hicks and Joe Berger, these people from her past that come and try to bother her. I know their names are not that. I just don't like them, and so I'm gonna call them whatever the hell I want. Or they're like, hey, we know a secret about you, so you're gonna have to do stuff for us now. Such a dumbass subplot. It really is. It's so stupid. Everyone involved in it is stupid. As a result, it makes the audience feel stupid for watching it. Overall, as revelations are made later on in the season, you realize that none of it actually made any sense. All it really did serve was to make Dana Walsh look like the weakest and dumbest character in 24 history. There's like 1,000 million, 100 billion different ways that she could have handled her situation better, and not to mention it doesn't connect to the main story at all. So that immediately ruins Dana Walsh's character, and who else do we have at CTU to root for besides Chloe? CTU head Brian Hastings, he's like the most incompetent head of CTU that we've ever seen. Seriously, this dude dismisses every lead if it's not his. He ignores the advice of good people. This guy makes stupid decisions all the time. He's boneheaded or pig-headed or some mix of a pig with a bone to pick. I don't know. It's just no, dude. Brian Hastings sucks ass. He's also a complete pushover and a bitch. He gets pushed around by the White House all the time. It really makes you harken back for the days of Bill Buchanan and Tony Almeida. Hell, I'd even take Aaron Driscoll over Brian Hastings. Arlo, I'm just gonna say I hate Arlo. He's nothing but a little shitbag, twat, scum, pervert. All he does is stare at Dana's ass and stare at her tits and follow her around and get in her business, and he really has no other purpose as a character besides that. I love the moment where Chloe is talking to him and Chloe's just like, yeah, well, you keep following Dana around. I'd have pressed charges against you by now for sexual harassment. He's like, you're just jealous. You don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm jealous. Please, won't you stare at my ass as I walk away? I will say this though, as the season goes forward, the show does start to pick up a little bit. There's a great shootout involving Cole, who's, you know, the head of tactical, or he's the head of field ops or whatever at CTU. Shootout with Cole and Jack and a bunch of guys. There's a great suspenseful sequence where Jack and Renee have to get President Hassan to safety because his life's in danger. There's a great chase sequence involving someone who might know where President Hassan is. I mean, there's just a lot of great shit in the second half of this season. And really, it picked up a lot of momentum towards the end, and it really started to remind 24 fans of why they love 24 so much. There are some moments in the second half of the season that will stand as some of the greatest moments ever. I mean, we all remember the scene in a subway or the underground place where Jack basically turns into Darth Bauer. He's not Babar anymore. He transforms into Darth Bauer, and that scene in the subway tunnel is just, oh shit. It's one of the greatest scenes ever in 24 history. Like, you will be hard pressed to find a scene better than that. The look on Charles Logan's face, which also brings me to another positive. Charles Logan is in the second half of the season, and he really does increase the quality of the season. He serves as kind of the devil on President Taylor's shoulder as he forces her to make some choices that kind of go completely against her character from the previous season. We don't care because he's finally Logan, and he's the slimy, despicable, disgusting, scumbag, bitch-made character that we all love to hate. No, there's no stupid ass redemption arc for Logan here. This guy is pretty much the devil in sheep's clothing. There's another slip up that happens, however, in the second half of the season. There is this really suspenseful, intense episode where Jack and Renee have to go into a building to save somebody, and that person that they're trying to save ends up dead, and it's really sad and traumatic. I won't tell you who dies, but I will tell you who dies next, because in the episode right after that, right after she and Jack are about to do the bang 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 bang, she finally gives him that and she gets killed. She gets sniped right through the window. It's overkill. Like, why? I just don't understand why you need to kill Renee. If you want to hurt her, fine. Why do you need to kill her? She's an awesome character, and it would have been great to see her stick around. Guys, in the end, there's a lot of things to like about the season. I mean, there's a lot of things to dislike, like Cole Ortiz and his fake-ass Brooklyn accent. The season also suffers from a lack of a true compelling villain. All the villains that they use in the beginning half of the season are really easily disposable, and none of them really interesting or intimidating enough to gather our attention. The second half of the season really picks up, but overall, this is a mixed bag kind of feeling, and this season overall is kind of average compared to the seasons that came before it. I'm gonna give 24 season 8 the Fortress of Solitude rating because it's not horrible and it's not as bad as season 6, even though I gave season 6 the same rating. It could have been handled better, and the stalled momentum at different points in the season really brought it down for me. Alright guys, that is my review of 24 Season 8. Let me know what you guys think about it down below. Stay tuned, I will have another review, 24 Live Another Day, in a few weeks. 24 Legacy, it's right around the corner, folks. Can't wait. As always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace!